you like K-pop, Minecraft YouTubers, maybe celebrity actors? How much do you like these people? Maybe a little, maybe a little too much. As a person who's really interested in the way relationships form and how they work, and currently taking sociology, I've done some extensive research on our online databases to tell you about a relationship you might not realize you have. Parasocial relationships are what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to define them for you. What is a parasocial relationship? I will tell you why they occur and why they're more relevant today than ever. So what is a parasocial relationship? Parasocial relationships, according to the Parasocial Interaction, a review of literature and a model for future research, notes that it was a term coined by psychologists Horton and Wall, in which we, the media users, view our media figures as friends. They also coined the term PSIs, or parasocial interactions, which are the way in which we interact with our media figures in a sort of friendly manner. Now, parasocial interaction and parasocial relationships are two different things. One does not necessarily equal the other. So if you have more parasocial interactions, that doesn't necessarily mean you are in a parasocial relationship. But let me give some examples as to the differences, I guess. With parasocial interaction, think if you were feeling betrayed by someone getting canceled on Twitter for saying something racist, or if you bought a advertised product by a media personnel. Those would be examples of parasocial interaction because you are doing something, a sort of attachment that relates to these media figures that goes beyond the media that they produced. Now, what would be a parasocial relationship? Let's go back to that Twitter example. So you feel betrayed, or rather, someone got canceled because they were saying something rude, like racism. If you were to defend that person, like, oh, no, they're actually a good person and they didn't mean it, then that would be an example of a parasocial relationship because you feel like this person is your friend and you have to defend them. I believe it was, the distinction between a parasocial relationship is that it is a one-sided relationship. It is you believing that this media figure is your friend, and that is the difference between an interaction and a relationship, I guess. But why do we have these one-sided relationships? Why do we form them? A parasocial relationship is not a bad thing or a good thing. Obviously, things taken in extremes can be bad for you, but it's just a relationship like any other in which we make based on our connection to things. So, for instance, in the study Friends Are Just Fans, Parasocial Relationships in Online Television Communities, they found that people form a greater sense of community from these relationships online. They are able to participate in fandom activities around these media figures and create actual relationships with other people within the fandom. They also occasionally will sometimes get into a activity that they enjoy that was inspired by this media figure. So in many ways, parasocial relationships can lead to realized relationships and hobbies. So why have these relationships been more prevalent than ever? I want to point to a quick statistic. So this is a graph by Twitch tracker Twitch is an online streaming service, if you don't know. Streamers essentially are media figures that can directly interact with their audience. This is something to note for later. In April of 2020, Twitch saw its highest rate of viewership, and it's skyrocketed in general with average viewership. So, if you know, April 2020 is when the pandemic really hit, and in many ways, the pandemic is part of the reason why a lot more people went to social media, other than just sites like Twitch for comfort. The pandemic isolated us greatly, and it made more of a reliance on these internet relationships that can lead to parasocial relationships. So with social media being more personable, with streamers being able to actively interact with their audiences, or even celebrities being able to do Instagram stories or tweet something out to their fans directly, you have this more of a breeding ground for these kinds of relationships. But now that we've discussed what a parasocial relationship is, why they form, and why they're more prevalent today than ever, I hope you all know what it is and how to spot them within your own lives. And don't worry if you like K-pop or Minecraft YouTubers or actors just a little too much. You're probably part of an awesome community.